sometimes those nightmares will be the very death of us and those we love. I nestled under the blanket, staring blankly at the glowing screen of my phone as I scrolled.
So baby, what about smoke?
And sleep had evaded me
cool.
yet again.
Here's a joint of smoke.
My parents
and couple nugs and keep the water. I was fair. Thank you, baby. You're welcome. But you're good now to smoke. Don't fuck. Done.
But having just moved into a new house, I was having trouble falling asleep.
So do it
and when
now.
I did,
Done, Daddy.
it wasn't
Good
pretty. 6 months had passed, and I was still waking
I know
up
what,
shaking
Daddy. I love you.
My
Love you
pillow
too, my
damp
study.
with tears,
Bitch.
sheets drenched in sweat. It was because of him, a tall, skeletal man who stalked my nightmares. He had this crooked smile and eyes glowing with the promise of death. And just as I was about to finally doze off, I heard the slashing of a knife coming from my parents' bedroom. I'm probably dreaming, I tried to reassure myself, attempting not to fidget. Just stay sleeping, I told myself. But the sounds continued, again and again and again, and I couldn't take it anymore. I tried to sit up and I couldn't move. Panic set in. In my typical night terrors, I'd be stuck, unable to move, and in full-on sleep paralysis. Only the fantastical setting letting me know I was dreaming. I had never experienced anything so realistic, so plausible. I didn't know if it was having a new level of a nightmare or if it was real. I was about to slide out of bed when I heard the creak of the wooden flooring from the hallway. Oh my God, this is happening, I thought. I jumped back under the covers and laid still, pretending to be asleep. I could hear a knife scraping a deep scratch along the wall as it slowly drew closer. It took all my willpower to keep my breathing steady, and I could hear snippets of heavy panting and high-pitched giggles. Each horrific sound enveloped me in a cold sweat beneath the covers, listening, waiting. The screaming stopped outside the door, and after a minute or two of silence, I chanced a glimpse of the darkened room. Peeking out from the bedclothes, I could see the outline of a thin man standing just inside my room. A dagger in his left hand, dripping liquid onto the carpet. A scream crept up my throat, but I somehow managed to suppress it. The man approached the bed thinking I was asleep. I could barely see, but I heard the whoosh of a fast-moving dagger whip across the air, and despite my fear, instinct took over. I grabbed a pillow, holding it above my head, and the blade went straight through the middle. I cried as it pierced my palm. As he ripped the dagger out, we both screamed. It sounded as though my cry was coming from his mouth. White-hot pain surged and pulsed through the ragged hole in my hand. I clutched my bloody wrist as he stood there, grinning. His eyes glowed like a cat's in the darkness. It wasn't until he lifted the dagger above his head once more that I jumped out and barely missed it. I reached for the lamp by my bedside table and swung as hard as I could. Somehow, it connected with his head. He yelped in surprise and pain, and I scrambled out, slamming the door behind me. I could hear footsteps behind me as I ran downstairs and into the kitchen. In the cast of moonlight, I caught sight of him. It was him.
Yep, that is
The
sometimes.
monster from my nightmares. Was this a nightmare? Would I wake up, or did I somehow will him into existence? His features twist with fury and madness. Lips stretched in a terrifying grin. I fell back onto the granite chest, heaving. The inhumane noises filled my ears, drilling into my skull. I rammed my hands against my head, trying to keep the sounds out, and then I stepped out of it, opened my eyes, and he was gone. I couldn't bear the thought of seen the carnage left in my parents' room, so I ran out of the house. The cool night wind met my wet cheeks, and I stood bleeding into the street crying for help, trying to wake up, praying this was just a terrible dream. But it wasn't. My parents are dead, and I'm still in the hospital. Not from my wounded hand, which healed months ago, but because they say it was me, that I'm the one who killed them in my sleep. I look at myself in the mirror, and I know I couldn't have done it. I know that it was him, and I know that he will never leave me, and that he'll be back.
Gang, gang.
Somehow, having fun always seemed to get pushed to the bottom of my to-do list. And at the end of the day, my work would be done, but there was...
Just a random BS test of your tips there, mate. Did you purchase these tips?
Yeah, but
Hi, I'm Stephanie Strange. Want to hear something scary?
Yes, of course I do. That's why I'm here, you dumb bitch. Of course I do when I hear something scary.
Family tradition is something that typically brings everyone together. But in some families, tradition is there just to keep everyone alive.
Yeah, but gang, gang.
Most of my friends grew up in religious households, practicing a form of religion. But whenever they asked me which faith I belonged to, I couldn't tell them. My parents never went to a church or a synagogue, and my grandparents never spoke of prayer or
Don't
worship.
smoke. Don't
That
fuck
didn't
you
stop
up.
me in trying to find out why.
Master.
One weekend at my grandparents', I had asked them if they knew what faith we practiced. Were we Protestant?
Yeah,
Catholic? I reiterated that a century ago, everyone had a religion, and I had asked this many, many times before. My grandpa rolled his eyes, but my grandma had enough. She went into her locked armoire where she kept her good china. She moved the central display plate, revealing a small door with a lock at the back. And she took a key from her necklace that I had never seen before and opened up a compartment, pulling out a small carved box. She turned and sat it in front of me. The detailing in the wood was ornate, with a pentacle carved into its top that gave me an eerie feeling. When Graham opened up the box, I was stunned by what was inside. It was horrific. Multiple human teeth, a token of human hair, an old gauze-like cloth stained with one drop of blood, and tiny scrolls of recipes. The smell was horrendous, and I started to gag. My grandfather stepped forward and snapped the box shut. He was clearly upset with my gram for showing me. They began to argue in a language I've never heard them use before. He grabbed the box and the key and put it back in its spot and locked it up. He assured me our family no longer practices that religion, and they kept the box as a reminder of all the damage it caused. He said that the trinkets kept us all safe, and that was the end of the discussion. When I tried to ask a question, I was shut down and told not to bring it up again. The whole thing shook me up. Now, luckily for me, when in doubt, the internet. I went home and spent the next few days Googling everything. The same thing kept popping up. And the pentacle, sign of protection. Present-day pagans also have a ton of forums and subreddits. Everything seemed harmless until I began chatting with someone called Neil Occult 5. When I told them what I had seen in the box, they replied, not only was it old school, but it should only be opened in front of someone who was deliberately Wiccan, meaning they had essentially been baptized into the sect, which clearly I had. They began to pray for me and my safety. I asked what could happen, and they said whoever's remains was in the box were now allowed to imprint their spirit upon me to connect to this world. The ritual went back to the 1500s, so perhaps my gram didn't know the danger, but based on my grandpa's reaction, he did. I left the chat and ran to my grandparents' house. I opened the door to find them sitting on the den floor, chanting. The box opened in front of them. They were in a trance, and behind the box sat a creature, seemingly human, some fin with papery gray skin. It opened its eyes and saw me, and their chanting suddenly stopped. This was the creature whose remains I saw in the box, who, according to Neo Occult 5, was now imprinted on me. It lifted its hand and pointed at me, freezing my whole body. I began to float towards it, unable to resist its pull. My grandparents' eyes were rolled back, and all I could see were the whites in their eyes. I was now inches away from the face of this golem-like creature. He grabbed my face and pulled me towards him, opening his maw and breathing into me. Its spirit began to travel from its mouth and into mine. I couldn't do anything. I was paralyzed and helpless. Then, out of nowhere, my grandfather shot up and grabbed the creature away from me. This, in turn, snapped my gran out of her trance as well. Together, they held its body down and began to chant over and over. Eventually, the creature disappeared, leaving behind only the skeletal remnants I had previously seen. They threw everything in the box, closed it, nailed it shut, and locked it away for safety. They told me they couldn't destroy the creature, but only keep it hidden away. Now it was passed down to me to ensure no one else would open it. And after that day, I understood why. Now, when someone asks me if I have a religion, I say confidently that I do, but we no longer practice it for everyone's safety. Hey everybody, it's Stephanie Strange from Something Scary.
Ready? Yep, Daddy. Let's do this. Don Mother, Sunny Queen. Let's go chill. Let's go fuck over here, cunt. Don. Oh, no, Mother, Sunny Queen. Alright, it's the next day. That chick, what the fuck, she dropped me off a burger that she cooked, and I was in there in my office. Let's go out and smoke some weed, got on the bike. Hey Chief. Hey Chief. Hey guys. Let's go chill over here, cunt.
Legendary hero will be an incredible assistant
Her
to the
bunch
battle.
of days.
He's only available for a day, as you guys have seen clicking on this video. We are going to be jump scaring people. And we have never done this on PGN before. We have never done this on the server ever. So we've added in the script that will pop up a image on the screen and scare the crap out of anyone playing. To get the full effect of this, we've asked a bunch of people to start streaming on the server. Basically, anyone who can stream, we've asked them to stream. Our first victim is one of our longtime players, Gab.
Who's it? Let's go chill on the seat, dude. Let's grab my fucking car. As you can see, I got a new police car. Why not? Let's grab my fucking car. Put it here, cunt. Let's go. Sit down, G. Hey, Chief. Hey, Chief. Hi. Gang, you heard. Press 5.
We just called him and basically said that the mafia meeting going on and your family is in danger.
Did you say? Oh shit. Taser, taser, taser. He has a weapon. Oh shit. He's grabbing for the weapon. Motherfucker. Fuck you. The fuck did you say? Look at you now. You're dead. You're dead. Motherfucker. Don't worry, Chief. We'll clean it up for you. Yeah, don't worry. Good. Gang, gang, you heard. On the bus of the fucking... What's my fucking gang called? I can't believe I forgot my fucking gang.
Mob shit going on. I have no idea. Poor guy has no idea what he's about to encounter.
Eden Gate Gang.
Survived in the farmhouse.
I'm the boss of the Eden Gate Gang, and also I'm the chief police here. At this station, at this police station.
God, he's just running in there. He's got his gun drawn and everything.
At this police station company. Each police station, they have different companies own them.
Nobody in here.
This police station owned by Google. Police station owned by Google. You know, those shit.
Look at the whole crime family in here. Hey, Vinny, sit tight, right?
Your family's not in hostage. Some guy called an electronic robot voice. One of her guys seen that one of their family members was kidnapped.
Police are now involved.
You don't know what's going to happen, but from here on out, things are going to change for your life, Woody Boss. Everything you've ever known will be turned upside down. Things you have never seen before.
I know
You're so hard to believe. You don't know the definition of power. Conforms to this.
Oh my god. That's spooked. He's looking around the table. The cops are leaving, thankfully.
Hey, he called me. I called him back. He said that since I brought everybody, I don't know how he knows what's wrong.
Oh! Hook, line, and sinker. His tires are gone. He's like, hey, Vinny, the wheels are out. Oh my god. What the hell? Oh my god. Holy shit. The driver got sniped, the car's still going.